Hands-On is sponsored in part by ELMER'S Products, Inc., manufacturers of a variety of adhesives, arts and crafts, and office products for use at home, school, or business for over 60 years. www.elmers.com. Dixon Ticonderoga. Our colors, their world. www.dixonusa.com.
Learn skills for a whole lifetime of crafting on this season of Hands-On. At school, home, or even in sports, each week we've got craft basics and great projects, each with 5 steps and 5 main ingredients. And every project teaches a new skill that you can use over and over again. Keep basic supplies like scissors, markers, toothpicks, and rulers on hand. And remember, be creative. Hands-On is going on vacation, and we hope you can join us. Today's basic lesson is that it's important to remember and keep memories of fun events in your life. Our first project is a travel album for pictures and mementos. Next, it's the basics of making lanyards and working with plastic lacing. Then Prudy Veneer is back with another charitable project, making postcards for the military that are far from home. Last up, identify and personalize your backpack or suitcase with a lanyard keychain. So let's hit the road.
Today's project is a fun journal to keep track of your summer vacation or road trip. We're going to make a wheel cover and then have lots of pages to write on or put photos on inside of it. The main supplies that you'll need are foam core board, opaque markers in both medium and fine tip. We're going to need paint brushes. We also need cardstock or white paper, the pattern for the album cover, which you can get on the website. We also need 2 key rings to bind everything together, and then your basic supplies: glue, a pencil, a craft knife, masking tape, a ruler, and a hole punch. So let's go ahead and get started. The first step is to get the pattern off of the website and cut it out. And we're going to tape it right onto our foam core board. The little piece here is the center of the album. And then I've used a piece of tape just curled up into a ball. I'm going to use that to stick it right onto the foam core so that while I'm cutting it doesn't slip. Next, you're going to use a ruler, and we're going to cut out each of the triangles in the middle first. A ruler will help with the straight edges, and then you'll have to kind of freehand the little bit of curved edges in the outside. It's good to get adult supervision while doing this step. So we're going to go ahead and just make a few cuts. I also want to point out that we're on a cutting mat, and that's going to protect your work surface. As you're cutting, it's best to try and do 3 or 4 little cuts instead of one really deep cut, and that way your cutting will be more precise and it's a little bit safer too. So I'm going to do 3 cuts there, and I'm going to do this curved part. And the foam core cuts really nicely. The center of it has foam, and then both the front and the back of it have a paper coating on it. So it's perfect for drawing and doing designs on. I'm going to lift this up. It's not quite ready to pop out, but if I lift it up just a bit, I can make that final cut all the way through. And my first cuts kind of work as a guideline. So I think we're all set. That just pops right out of there. There we go. So you can see I've done my first cut. You go ahead and cut out all those pieces. And the next step is to paint it. So I've obviously painted this to look like a tire or a wheel. You could also paint it to look like an old boat wheel or a steering wheel or something like that. I've done the center part in black, and I've just used these black paint brushes with the paint already inside it, so it's very neat. I've also got my work surface covered, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to paint around the outer edge here. I painted my lighter color first, and that just kind of guarantees that I don't get dark where I want it. You can also purchase different color of foam core board, which is really great, and it would save you from having to do quite as much painting. So once you get this painted all the way around, let's keep going over here. There we go. The next step is to add some details. Now, if you weren't happy with the color that you've got with one coat, you can let that dry and add a second coat to it as well. But I'm all ready and I'm pretty happy with what I've got, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue the center part onto my wheel. You can see that the glue goes on purple, but once it dries, it'll be clear. I'm just going to tap that right into the center, and now I'm going to use my medium opaque markers, and I'm going to use them to add some detail. On the edges of the wheel, I'm just going to add a little line to highlight each edge, just like this. And then with the red marker, we can write words in there. So I'm going to put summer and vacation. You could also write road trip, you could write your name. You could write it correctly. There we go. I almost forgot an A in there. And then the black medium marker is really good too to add some detail to the black portions. You can add kind of little V's all the way around the wheel like this to make it look more like a wheel. You want to let it dry all the way around before you finish that step though. Next, we're going to punch holes in it, and the holes are going to allow you to bind it all together and put pages in your album. So pick your spot for your holes. Just squeeze it into your hole punch and put 2 pieces in for 2 rings. There we go. Okay, the next step is to make the pages for your album. Just use white craft paper. You can take the same exact wheel pattern, and this time, instead of cutting out all the little spokes to the wheel, you would just cut out the circle shape. So you can see I've cut out a bunch of pages here. We'll stack everything together, and then we can insert the ring through the wheel here. Now, another fun thing that you can do with this is use colored papers. And the colored papers add a lot of variety and just kind of make your album a little bit more exciting. So you want to clip those tight. Okay, so we've got our basic cover, we've got our pages, and the next thing you can do, because you can see the little peekaboos in the front cover, we can add some more words and a little bit more detail. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my fine liner, and I can write words that are related to summer, like let's put relax right in here. And maybe swimming. And so you can personalize the whole wheel and do all kinds of fun stuff so that your album cover relates to your vacation or your road trip. You can see on this one, we have games, friends, camping, swimming, biking, playing, road trip, and relaxing. All great things to do on a road trip or a summer vacation.
Have you ever worked with plastic lacing, or sometimes it's called lanyard or gimp or even boondoggle? Well, we have an expert with us today. This is Mary Slavinsky of Pepperell Braiding, and you are an expert on lanyards.
Thank you, Kathy. I am, and I'm going to show you today how to start a plastic lacing project, but let's start off with looking at the color choices.
Oh, they are just absolutely beautiful. Can you tell us about those?
Sure. Today there are over 100 color choices. Back in the 1930s when lacing first came out, there were 12. Now you can see, you can choose between primary and basic pastels, or you can move on to neon colors. There's 2-color and 3-color laces. There's glow in the dark. There's even round lacing, and lacing with slight stretch to it. And one of my favorite, which is the glitter or the holographic.
Oh, I do. I like the glitter. I love those 3-color combinations too.
They're beautiful.
Now, you brought some models or some samples to show us what we're going to be doing today, or what kind of stitch.
Yes, I did bring some basic stitches, which are right in front of me, that we're going to do today. The basic stitch is known as the square stitch or the box stitch, but I also brought some other beautiful projects that have been made.
So what do we need to get started?
Okay, we're going to start with 2 short laces, which I've pre-cut 12 inches long, and I've cut the ends at an angle just to make it easier to go in and out of the loops. I'm going to hold 1 lace in my left hand and 1 lace in my right hand, and I'm going to cross them over. And if you look at them, you have a vertical and a horizontal. I'm going to call this lace number 1. This is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. Okay. I'm going to take lace number 1, and I'm going to come down to form a loop. Lace number 2 is going to cross over. Lace number 3 is going to come up, and the last lace is going to go over and through the opening.
Okay, through the opening on that yellow. Okay.
That's it. And now you're just going to pull so that you're consistent. And there you go. There's the beginning of the box stitch.
You made it look so easy.
Okay, now to finish it, that's half of the box stitch.
Okay.
You're going to go around in a circle again. You're going to go 4, 3, 2, and then the last stitch again is going to cross over and go through the opening. And that's one complete box stitch.
Okay, so if you just remember that 1, 2, 3, 4, you've got it.
That's it.
Okay, now for children, is it for children with smaller hands, or is there another technique that you can use?
There is. There's a great tool that's out on the market. It's a gimper tool.
A gimper tool?
There's a front side that has numbers and a back side that has stars, and I'm going to show you how to use that. It gives younger hands a way of holding on to the tool versus the lacing. So once again, I have 2 laces that are pre-cut, 12 inches long, and I've snipped the ends. And I'm going to pick up the tool. I'm going to turn it so that the stars are on the facing me, and I'm going to insert the laces through the slots right next to the stars, and then I'm going to pull the laces through so they're even on the other side. And I'm going to just finish that up with the last lace. And once again, I'm going to just pull that through and even out the laces. So I'm going to turn it over. And this is the side with the numbers.
Oh, your numbers are right there.
And I'm going to do exactly the same thing that I just did with my hands. I'm going to come down with lace number 1. I'm going to cross over with lace 2. I'm going to come up with lace 3. And the last lace is going to go over and through that opening that we have right there, which is exactly what I just did with my hand. And that is the beginning of that square stitch.
Oh, that really makes it easier. Even for an adult, that would be easier.
And once again, to finish that square stitch, you're going to go 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back through that opening right there. And once again, pull the laces so that they're uniform. Now, if you just want to continue to do that same pattern, you're going to have something that looks like this. And once you feel that you've mastered that box stitch, what you can do with this tool, which is really nice, is that you can pull all the laces.
Oh, it just snaps out.
And reuse that over and over again. Now, when you're ready, you can add a lanyard hook on that, and off you go.
And do you just knot the bottom, or I see you've added beads on some of these?
You can just add a bead to all 4 laces, and there you go.
Oh, that is great. Well, let's go back and look at some of these samples. Now that I know what the box stitch looks like, I want to get an idea of some other things we could make. If we look down at that heart backpack tag, that has like a twist in it, but that's still the box stitch, right?
That's right. That is, it starts off with 6 laces, and then it separates, and then it forms a heart. But we have other, you can tell by the other.
There's so many different designs.
They're beautiful.
Well, Mary, thank you so much, and you're going to be back later in the show and do another project with us.
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
This is a pattern postcard project. A pattern is simply an object that's repeated to make a design, which we've done in 3 different examples here. We mentioned before that the postcards can be sent to the military overseas. They're also great for anyone who needs a little bit of cheer. That could be elderly care facilities or hospitals. Great fun project to do. Over here we have the supplies you'll need. Postcards. These are paper mache postcards, but you could certainly make your own out of stiff cardboard. We have paint. We have brushes, chalk pencil, and pens. Our usual paint supplies, paper towel, water in a water basin. And, let's see. I guess we have this little lid, and I'll show you what that's for in a little bit. Let's get started. We're going to start with the plaid one. And plaid is simply repeating stripes. I'll start with a green stripe. And stripes, the size of the stripe is dictated by the size brush you have. This is my wide brush, so I'll put my biggest stripes on first. They have to go vertically, and then they'll go horizontally. I'll space them so that I have room for my other stripes. I love these color combinations. Bright and cheery, just what you need for a postcard. And now I'll go this way. Nice wide stripes. It just doesn't take too much paint. You drag it all the way across. I'll rinse my brush, dry it a little bit, and I'll put on a more narrow stripe, and with that one I use a little bit smaller brush. let's do the next one with some blue. That always looks good with this bright green. And I'm going to repeat it kind of scientifically, maybe to the right of each green one, I'll put a blue one, just so there's some kind of system in this. Makes a nice repetitive pattern. And this way, you can see our plaid is starting to form. And another one. And actually, it looks like if there were a green stripe right here, maybe I need one over on this side. And I'm going to finish off with a liner brush. And let's use some pink. We'll go this way. I could add a few more colors if I wanted to. Yellow would be nice in this, maybe some orange. But for the sake of time, we'll just do a little bit. But this plaid's coming around, isn't it? There. Easy and fun. Now, our next one will be the posy pattern. On this one, I started with a circle and I just traced around a paint cap. I suppose you could use a template, but this was easy to do. I want a little texture in the middle, so I'm going to use a stencil brush. I'm going to pick up some yellow, and to get a little texture, I don't swish the brush or stroke it, I pounce it. I want to add a little more color to the bottom, so I'm going to dip just the edge of that, this might be called a side load there, in some orange. So I have yellow and orange on there, and I can add some color just like this, just a little bit across the bottom. The petals are done with brush tip dots. They're also called dip dots. And that is simply taking a brush handle, putting some white, making a dot, all the way around to make our petals. Now you'll notice I have a little green leaf in here. That is simply a brush stroke with a flat brush. This is a flat brush. I'll load it with some green, and I can fill in my blank areas with a stroke that makes a leaf. And that, covering the whole postcard, makes your posy pattern. Next one, let's go to the bumblebee. This one is done with a filbert brush. It has a little curved end. I'll make the body first with a couple of strokes, and then I can make the wings with another kind of stroke. I'll turn the brush so that the wing comes to a point. I finish up using a pen. With the pen, I make the stripes, and I can make the little antennas, and also these flight paths that finish up our pattern. There you have 3 easy patterns on 3 fun postcards to send somebody some cheer anywhere in the world.
Whether you call it gimp or lacing, you can make great backpack keychains using lace. Now I'm going to show you what you'll need. First of all, we're going to start out with lace. Lace comes in all different colors, and it can match your school colors or your favorite colors. It comes in flat or round. It also comes in multiple colors on the same piece, and it comes in metallics. You'll also need a keychain to put it on, and then you'll also need the ring that you're going to attach to your lanyard. Now the last and most important piece is a GIMP tool, and I'm going to show you how that works. I also have scissors and I have some pony beads, which are optional. Okay, to get started, you're going to pick up this round circle. Now you might remember attaching your lanyard to a fence or something to pull it tight. This makes it so easy. Now on the front, there are stars, and on the back, there's numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I'm going to turn it over to the star side, and I'm going to lace through from that back to the front. And I'm going to put yellow, because those are our school colors. So yellow is coming through 1 and 3, and the blue is coming through 2 and 4. And there's actually even a groove in here that accommodates the flat lace. I'm going to even those up. Now you would do a much longer length if you were doing a larger lanyard, but I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes so you can see it easily. Okay, now that you've got your cords here, you're going to take from number 1 and you're going to go down from number 1. You're going to go over with number 2. You're going to go up with number 3 and over with number 4. And that number 4 is going to come through that first loop you've made. And then you're going to pull it nice and tight. Now don't pull it too tight so you don't pull it off the tool. That's half of a stitch. Now I've got one completed here with that half stitch on, and this one is in red and yellow. Now when you're going to the next one, you're going to go counterclockwise. So 4 is going to come down, then 3 comes across, 2 comes up, and then 1 is going to come over, and it goes right through that first loop. That is one complete box stitch. So you've gone one direction, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then back the other direction, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's a completed stitch. Now if you continued going clockwise and counterclockwise, you would create a braid that's going to be square. If you want to create one that goes round, you would continue going and twist, you would continue going the same direction. But I'm making the box one, so let's do one more stitch. So I'm going to take number 1 down, number 2 across, number 3 goes up, and then number 4 comes over, and you've got that little loop that was created. And we go right through the loop. And you're going to pull it nice and tight. Another stitch. Then we're going to go 4, 3, 2, 1. So it's 4, 3, 2, and 1 through the loop. Now you continue doing this for as long as you want your backpack keychain to be. I'll pull that out. And that's another stitch. Now here I've gone a little bit farther. There's 2 stitches on this one, and this one I've gone even farther. So now let's say you wanted to end this. You can complete it by drawing it up and putting all 3 through, or all 4 through a pony bead, which has a large hole. Or to finish it, you can go back and loop each one through the next one. So I'm going to take this one and loop through here, and pull that tight. Take your next one and loop through the next one. So what you're doing is just going around, and this time I'm going clockwise, and I'm just looping it through. And what that'll do is secure it with a knot at the very end. And that's all you need to do to finish it, because if you've pulled it tight, it's not going to come apart. I have one more here. And my last one, going through my last knot. Now I'm going to just trim this down a little bit so you can see better. Now I can add my pony bead on the end and thread it through all 4 if I'd like. Or I can put a pony bead on each one. You can do any different combination. And now when I'm ready to pull this off, I just pull and it comes right off. Now I can loop that onto my split key ring by sliding that on. See if I can hold that in my other hand so you can see it. And slide that on. And then the last thing I want to do is add a decorative key hook. So on this one we would take this extra one off. And there you've got your finished lanyard. Now, we've added a fish one here, and this is the box stitch. This is the round one, like I said about twisting, and it used a multicolor. We've added beads in between here and on the end. And if you come to these finished ones, there's all sorts of great little designs you can do. You can add beads at the end, in the middle, and all different colors. And that's how you create a great keychain. Thanks for joining us today on Hands On. On our next show, it's time to head to school, a great place to learn new skills. See you then on Hands On.
Projects from today's show plus other ideas are available on the web at craftsforkids.com. This is program 1111. Hands On is sponsored in part by ELMER'S Products, Inc., manufacturers of a variety of adhesives, arts and crafts, and office products for use at home, school, or business for over 60 years. www.elmers.com. Dixon Ticonderoga. Our colors, their world. www.dixonusa.com.